My name is Dani Byrd, and I'm a Client Success Manager. My goal is to make sure that their IT solutions are fitting the needs of their organization and that they have everything that they need. What are they doing now? What are they going to do in the future? All that has to have an underlying IT infrastructure backing it. And so my goal is just to make sure that they have what they need to be successful. I am a sole contributor right now, so I am the Client Success Manager at my organization. I really enjoy my company because they said, hey, you've been at this company for almost 13 years. You know what needs to be done. So we're gonna put you in an office, we're gonna give you lots of snacks, and I want you to get this stuff done. I love my job. I love my job. I love being able to meet clients when they just have an idea in their mind, when they're just like, I wanna do this thing. And for me to able to do the work and say, yep, this thing is absolutely possible. Here's how technology can help you. Here's how we get you there. My journey in technology really started in high school. I was not the best student. I really struggled in school. I really struggled to find my path. I actually had a guidance counselor my junior year in high school said, listen up, Dani, what are you gonna do with your life? Your grades are bad, you're not showing up to classes, you've gotta do something. And so I'm gonna give you a couple of choices. I'm gonna send you to vocational school, and you can be a plumber, you can be an electrician, or you can do this IT stuff. Which choice do you want? And I said, well, I would rather be in some place that's indoors, air conditioned, so let's choose the IT thing. And so they put me on a bus and I started to learn all about computers. That's where I first encountered CompTIA. One of my first studies was the A+, and we hammered the A+. I know so much about printers that I don't think that I can state it on camera. I took that test and I graduated from Votech and said, okay, I'll start this tech thing. So then the school district came along and said, hey, we understand you're a competent technician, you've got a certification under your belt, how about you come work for us? And so then I worked for Muskogee Public Schools. And they said, hey, you know what, it'd be really cool if you had a Network Plus. And I said, okay. So I went back to my vocational school, got my Network Plus, and then I had 2 certifications, and I was hot dogging it in Muskogee, Oklahoma with 2 IT certifications. So I worked a little bit, got more experience. I think I left there as a tier 2 technician, and then I moved to Tulsa to get married, start a family. So in order to move, I called a recruiter and talked to them about all of my IT experience, and at that point, I mean, I could tell you everything in the registry, I could tell you all the RAID levels, I was really good. And so then this company called Bank On It came from a recruiter, and they said, hey, we would like to hire you to be a tier 1 technician for a company called Bank On It. You know, it's funny because I thought that was a scam actually. I said, you guys aren't running a business, you're gonna get me to Tulsa, and there's not gonna be a job here. The executive vice president actually called me and he was like, no, we're a real job, we want you to do IT, you have great credentials, let's get this thing on wheels. Bank On It said, hey, so you've got your A+ and your Net Plus, that's cool. We need you to get a security focused cert. Here are the lists of security certs you can get. I said, well, you know what, I'm in this CompTIA thing, you know, in for a little bit, in for a lot. And so I said, let me take the Security Plus. Took the Security Plus, and they said, hey, we want you to be an infrastructure technician, we want you to help us with our ISP operations. How about you go ahead and take that Server Plus? So I took that Server Plus, I did that for a number of years, and then I said, you know what, I want to be a manager. I think I want to be a manager. And so the only position we had available at the time was project management. And so I said, okay, I guess I'll take that Project Plus. I also took the Linux Plus, and that was probably one of the hardest certs I've taken from CompTIA. It was really challenging. Having all of the CompTIA certs that I have has really laid a good bedrock for my IT career. It gave me a solid base to work from, and as I've taken more of their higher level certs, it's opened new doors for me. Whenever I would sit for an interview for a role change, they would say, talk to us about role-based authentication. And I would be like, that was on my Security Plus, I know that. Or they would be like, talk to me about principle of least privilege. And I'd be like, it's on my Server Plus, I know that. It helped me to punch higher than my actual experience level in a lot of instances because I had all of this knowledge. And a funny thing about CompTIA that I enjoy is they're not just testing stuff for testing's sake. So their questions aren't framed as in, tell us what port SMTP runs on. Their questions are really good. They're like, you are an IT administrator for a small company called Acme Corp, and they want to have an email server, and you're trying to make an allowance on the firewall. What port do you allow for this? Well, it's port 25. it's a real world question, and it makes you think. And then when that does happen in your career, you're like, hey, I'll take a cert on that. I know exactly how to do this. These are some of the most taken certifications in the industry. So you are surrounded by people who have been there, who have struggled, and who have come out victorious with their certifications, and all that body of knowledge exists. I would say for a regular candidate, my advice would be go take a practice test, see where you actually are as far as the knowledge. And it doesn't matter if you're in high school or if you're a college senior or if you're mid-level in your career, you can find training where you're at.